You ever stare at a page of, I don't know, equations or some super complex theory and just feel like you've hit a brick wall? That feeling that some subjects are, well, just impossible to get? Yeah, we've all been there. But what if there was a method, a set of tools really, to actually break through that wall? Let's dive in to how the experts take apart the impossible, one piece at a time. First things first, it is not just you. Seriously. Even the experts will tell you how hard their fields are. Physicist Frederick Schuller says it right here about quantum mechanics. Its reputation for being difficult is totally deserved. So if you've ever felt intimidated by a subject, you're in very good company. The challenge is absolutely real. Okay, so that leads to the big question, right? If these subjects are genuinely that tough, how does anyone ever get a handle on them? Well, it's not about being some kind of super genius. It's about having a strategy, a system for dismantling all that complexity and building real understanding, piece by piece. So, strategy number one, and maybe the most powerful one, is all about cutting through the noise. It's about finding the absolute core of a problem by purposefully stripping away all the distracting details. And the first step, as one of the world's greatest mathematicians will show us, is to think like a cartoonist. The brilliant mathematician Terence Tao has this fantastic three-step approach. First, you simplify. But you're not trying to make the problem easy, not at all. The whole point is to isolate the essential difficulty. Next, you abstract. And this is an active thing. You are deliberately forgetting the details you think are just getting in the way. And finally, you sketch. And we're not talking a perfect photo, but more like a caricature, a cartoon that exaggerates the most important features. This right here, from the world of complex analysis, is a perfect example of what he means by a cartoon sketch. It's not a photograph, it's a map that's showing how a mathematical function transforms a grid. See how it bends and stretches? The point isn't to be perfectly accurate. It's to exaggerate those key features so you can build a deep, intuitive feel for what's going on. This is how you gain real insight, not just memorize facts. All right, so you've simplified the problem. Now you need the right language to talk about what's left. And in a lot of advanced fields, that language is abstraction. Now, I know it can look really intimidating, but it's actually your best friend when it comes to finding clarity. Just look at this slide. This shows you the power of abstraction in a nutshell. On the left, you've got this equation from differential geometry with all its guts hanging out. It's just a mess of indices, so hard to read and so easy to mess up. Now look at the right. That is the exact same idea, but it's expressed in the abstract language of the field. It's clean, it's simple. You can actually see the core concept. That's what happens when you learn the language. You turn a mess into meaning. And as Friedrich Schuller explains again, that's really all these formalisms are. They're not there to be obstacles. They are the proper language for the job. You know, mastering this language is like becoming fluent in a new tongue. All of a sudden, you can express these incredibly profound ideas with an elegance and a precision that was just impossible before. Okay, so you've simplified the problem and you're learning the language. But there's a third, absolutely crucial piece to this puzzle. And this one's all about your mindset. Because deep understanding doesn't come from just passively watching. It comes from getting your hands dirty. And this is the part nobody really talks about, the unglamorous truth of it all. The physicist Marian Fecco calls it dirty self-activity. You can't just read the book. You have to do the problems. You have to wrestle with the concepts. And that active struggle means something else. As a researcher once famously wrote, you have to get comfortable with feeling stupid. But here's the secret. That feeling isn't a sign that you're failing. It's the feeling of being at the very edge of what you know. It's the feeling of learning itself. This chart from a physics textbook just visualizes the journey perfectly. See? Understanding isn't one giant leap. It's a structured path. You master chapter 1, and that gives you the keys to unlock chapter 2. And look, you can't even try chapter 11 until you've gone through chapters 4, 7, and 12. Every single arrow on this map, that represents that dirty work. Those are the hours you spend fighting with problems that build the foundation for the next big idea. So we've gone through 3 really powerful strategies. Now let's put it all together and forge them into a practical toolkit that you can use to tackle any complex subject that comes your way. Okay, here it is, your toolkit for understanding anything. First, simplify. Find the real essential problem. Second, visualize. Make those cartoon sketches to build your intuition. Third, learn the language. You gotta master the formalism because that's where the clarity comes from. And finally, and this is a big one, embrace the process.
Accept that the struggle, that dirty work, and yes, even feeling stupid, that is the path. These 4 tools can help you break down any wall.
So, with this toolkit in hand, that subject that seemed so dense, so impossible, maybe now it just looks like a series of steps, a path you can actually walk. The wall is still there, for sure, but now you've got the tools to start taking it down brick by brick. The only question left is, what are you going to tackle?